Hi, welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at the figures that came with the GI Joe Haslab Skystriker. And no, not all of them. We're not going to look at Failsafe, and we're not going to look at Ace, because I already reviewed them in the Skystriker review. So if you're interested in seeing that, I will drop a link in the description where you can run over there, take a look at it, and see exactly what's different between Ace, and you can see the look and the review of Failsafe and the whole Haslab Skystriker in general. What we are going to look at is the Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander. Then we'll compare him to the Cobra Commander that was just recently released, the Cobra Trooper, which is in Sunbow colors, and we'll compare him also to the recently released Cobra Trooper, Night Force Ripcord, and then we will compare him to the original OG Ripcord. Scarlet, we'll just quickly take a look at her body and compare it to Ace's, and we'll look at her face, compare that to the OG one. And then we'll just take a look at this figure, which bothers me more than anyone because this should be ketchup and mustard. I should have them for my aircraft carrier. But I don't, because not enough people backed it, and I didn't get ketchup and mustard, nor did anyone else, and they haven't released it yet. So, before I get started, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified anytime I drop a GI Joe video, especially something like this. So, I'm going to try and make this fairly quick. I know, I'm not quick with any of my reviews. So, looking at this here, the card is much better than before. It's thicker, but there's all these veins that are running through a lot of them. I think once they get heated, once they get hot, they start to stretch. And what that is because they're using a cheap process for the most part. They may have thicker cardstock, but it's cheaper paper. And I fix copy machines, and even though I don't use industrial or fix industrial copy machines, I understand theoretically how they work and everything. And basically, they're using some cheap stuff for this. So anyway, what we have gone over is that I think most people have complained about the helmet. Don't really like the helmet. Everything else I think looks really good. It has the explosion in the background. That's not the digital one. It tells you the swivel arm battle grip. Cobra Enemy, GI Joe, yes, the real American hero is not there because it was not on the Cobra Troopers. And on the back, you have the cross-sell of the 5 figures, and then you have a 1 language file card, which is what we should always be getting. It should fit in with our original file cards. So all the ones they've been making, they have 5 languages. It looks awful, but this, because of how it was released, they were able to do it. Cards should be unpunched. I don't really have any damage to any of mine, but I'm going to be opening them, so it doesn't really matter to me all that much. But you can see it's real nice. It's got the plastic bubble in here. It keeps it in place, so it looks nice. He's not going to be bouncing around if you do want to hang it on the wall. Here is Scarlet. So this is the pilot Scarlet. I really do like the artwork. Again, explosion in the background, not the digital, because this would have been done earlier before the digital. She has a crossbow. I'll be really interested to see. Yep, I can already see that she does not have the handle for the crossbow, which means she can't hold it. Talk about a complete screw up, Hasbro. Like every single Scarlet's crossbow does not have a handle. So how does she hold it? Again, this is the type of stuff that people have complained about with their quality control. We'll probably get into that a little more. I don't see any lines on this one really, but when you feel it, again, thicker cardstock. I know it's cheap. And on the back here, you have, again, the file card. I really like it. I really like the artwork of this. I think that Scarlet looks really awesome. And they do a really good job of making it not look just like Ace, although that is just Ace's body there. Here we have Night Force Ripcord. Now, he is in the digital background because I do believe Night Force would have been during the digital era. So they did digital. I think it looks really cool. Everything that came with the original Ripcord is back here. And it's all the same weapons that he had, except obviously in Night Force colors. And on the back, he does have a different color file card, so I wonder if that's how all the Night Force came. By the time Night Force came out, I believe I was out of GI Joe and I was riding my skateboard. Oddly enough, I still do both those things today. But anyway, this one tells you that it's a special swivel arm battle grip. I don't know what's special about it. But again, it looks really nice. The artwork, I do believe, is done by Adam Riches. So, in here we have the Cobra Trooper. Again, looks really nice. The helmet. This helmet doesn't look as bad, probably because of the angle, but I don't understand why they have such a flare like that. But in all honesty, it looks really good. Everything other than that, just get rid of that. The artwork looks really nice. Again, it's in one spot. Probably uses the exact same bubble that came with the Cobra Trooper and the 2-pack. And there is the file card. Again, not much to say. Is equivalent of a grade E4. And here we have the Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander. People have really complained about the hood. I mean, the mask, I agree. I don't understand why they flared out the mask like that. It's never looked like that. It doesn't look like that on this. So I don't understand why they would do it. This is the Mickey Mouse one. Again, I don't really care. It doesn't really mean anything to me. The Mickey Mouse is important because it was such a rare, just a rare figure in general. So redoing it doesn't really mean much to me, but I guess it's kind of cool to have. Then I can say I have a Mickey Mouse, even though it's not the original. Then you see his, hair dryer that he has. And on the back, he has the file card. Now, I do not have the original file card, so I cannot read them to know if they're the same. But and then, like I said, we will compare it to these two new ones that just came out. My original Scarlet. Her crossbow just dropped, but it does have a handle and she can hold it. Ripcord, and then the Aces body. So you've looked at me long enough. I've showed you what we're going to look at. Let's quickly take a look at these figures. I don't think this is going to be really too much to go over, but then again, we're looking at 5 figures, and you know how I can ramble on. All right, all the figures are open. Again, if you want to see failsafe, you want to see Ace, stop, take a look at the actual Haslab Skystriker review. First thing I did want to show you quickly is I missed this on the Haslab, but these are covers, and I showed you the Gatling gun. I showed you also where the ladder hits, but I did not show the ammo drum. Matter of fact, this is actually where the ammunition looks like it goes through, but I didn't realize that this cover came off, so I wanted to show you guys really quickly in case you're following the channel and you saw the saw that review. So anyway, we're going to start with Scarlet, and that's because mentioned about how she's missing the handle, and people are trying to figure out if that was a mistake, if that's how it's supposed to be. Well, I'm going to tell you that someone at Hasbro, this was their bright idea to not put the handle on there. So as you can see, they did a pretty good job of remaking it, other than there's no handle. But the reason why I said the handle isn't supposed to be on there is this is the shell that it's supposed to go in, and it came like this, and as you can see, when it has the handle, it doesn't fit in, where this one here fits in exactly the way that it's supposed to. So the bubble, the blister, had no room for the handle, which meant this didn't have room for the handle. So to me, it looks like it was made like that. So other than that, the crossbow looks absolutely awesome, but she can't hold it. So what good is it? It's almost like they tried to make it look like a real crossbow without a handle, but I don't know, maybe they have, I don't know. I don't know anything about, I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so here's Scarlet, and she is in Ace's outfit. Okay? Let's adjust this quickly because... So she's in Ace's outfit, and I've already gone over Ace, but I will show you. So they recreate Ace pretty well. It's got the sidearm up here. The belt and everything looks really good. It follows everything. I like the color. I think it fits pretty well. So I'm not upset with it at all. I like having kind of like a new pilot. a new figure, so that's good. And the knee articulation, she does get 90-degree bends. You know, the Jean-Claude Van Damme. The rubber bands are so, the O-rings are so tight that sometimes it forces them to sit forward. Now, looking at this here, you see that gap there? I guess I have to pull this out because Ace seems to have the same issue. So this mold clearly has a defect in it. I thought it was just my Ace, but clearly this mold has a defect since it's the exact same mold. So that is unfortunate, truly, truly unfortunate that we spent this much and stuff like that. And it looks like her arm is ready to fall off. And I think because of how soft the plastic is, there's a good chance we could just pull the thing off. Other than that, I guess it looks decent. I don't have a problem with it. I think we've kind of gotten over the... Well, hers are painted. These ones are not painted, the rivets. And that's probably because the OG one wasn't. I do want to mention about the back peg. So, the one thing that's different is the pegs, or the holes for the backpacks are different. And people have complained about it, and I've also complained about it. I specifically asked Lenny, and I asked him if it was okay if I talked about it. He said it's fine. And what he had said was, when making the new figures, when having to do like the walls and everything, the durometers all have to be different. So the way the O-ring is formed on the inside, the way the walls with the plastic has to be formed, it causes the hole for the back screw to be smaller. Now, before anyone says, hey, Call Sign Longbow is not going to be like that, or Operation Recall, I'm not sure if they are. But the one thing Lenny did say is that if they continue with this line, he's definitely going to try and fight back against that. But at this point, I don't know if it matters because you already have backpacks and everything that are made to go into this size. So quickly, we can take a look at her face. So that was that. I just want to mention that. So there's her face. I think it does a pretty good job of remaking her. So what this tells me is that if you have the face sculpt already, we're probably going to get an O-ring Scarlet sometime down the road, because why wouldn't you use this face sculpt? So again, she comes with the helmet. These things clip on really well, okay? So these things clip on really well. You're not going to have to worry about them coming off. And now if you want to make her the co-pilot, the pilot, you can kind of have it uniformed rather than have failsafe in the back, and it makes no sense why he's not in that similar type of outfit, but that's that. All right. And then the card back, as I had mentioned, it looks really nice. I like the artwork of her. It's different. It's the first time we've ever had that. And again, if you take a razor and you kind of cut it, you can peel this off and slide these back in if you want to keep this. I definitely do. There are no flag points. I gotta point out a few things that I may have forgotten. Again, everything looks really nice. I do like it. There are some complaints. It's not perfect. There's no doubt about it there. So next, we would take a look at the Cobra Trooper, Cobra Officer. No, Cobra Trooper. And what we will do is lower this. We'll compare them to the other new Cobra Trooper. Now, I will drop links to the review that I did with the comparison of the Cobra Officer and Cobra Trooper in the description, along with the comparison to the original Cobra Commander compared to the new ones. But these here are just reuses. It's the same mold that we already got, but this is supposed to be more Sunbow accurate. So in Sunbow, they didn't have gloves, and then they had the white padding that went over, and then you have the white around the white around the kneecaps. They also painted the rivets because I'm assuming they wanted to kind of look uniformed. Now, I don't know why they would not have done aces. Maybe because it's white already. It just seems like an odd thing to go on. Oh, and right here, this is also painted. So for the most part, it's the exact same figure, just with a few different paint apps. So here we got 90-degree knees, the T-pose, the Jean-Claude Van Damme. The rivets on these look good. I've already gone over these before, since it's the same as this. And then he also comes with the same rifle. And again, you can see my review if you want to in the description. So this looks good. These guns are super soft. Their hands are super soft. You're not going to have to worry about thumbs breaking, crotches breaking, different things like that. I actually really like this trooper, to be honest. It's just something a little bit different. Also, nothing comes with stands, if you were wondering. All right, Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander. Step on up. And then we will get the Sunbow. See, this is where things start getting really confusing. Like, you went with this Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander, but you went with the Sunbow Trooper. But then you went with Sunbow Cobra Commander here, and the Mickey Mouse. You see, there's just like weird things like that don't seem to make a lot of sense. But oh well, that's life, right? We're getting stuff. All right, so I can tell you right now, these are the same molds, but the color schemes are just completely different. This one is way closer to the original lighter blue that we had with Cobra Commander. And where this one here is the much darker, richer blue that you got in the Sunbow. You have the painted helmet, which you don't have with the Sunbow. This belt here is painted white to go with Sunbow. And obviously the Mickey Mouse logo is right there. And if you're wondering why it's called Mickey Mouse, is it looks like Mickey Mouse. It was a mistake. There's a whole story about it I don't fully remember. But again, for the most part, this is exactly what Cobra Commander is supposed to look like. If you want to see the video, you can watch the link that I put for this one. I don't really want to rehash and go over again what they do, but it's the same one. Again, it looks nice. I do like the lighter blue, to be honest. So, knees bend 90 degrees. Jean-Claude Van Damme, T-pose. My arms are perfectly fine. It's so odd how people are getting two right arms, and we've seen it a bunch of times, considering this is just now a reuse of the mold you just saw. He does come with his hair dryer gun, and it does peg into the back if you want. So, just like the original Cobra Commander, just like that Cobra Commander, it can still peg in the way you want it to. And again, I don't, painting the rivets don't bother me. It looked more odd at first, but now it's kind of used to it. All right, so here is the one that really bothers me and upsets me. And that's because I really wanted the grounds crew. So, I guess I should have grabbed the Cobra Officer. So it has the Cobra Officer helmet, as you can see with the insignia there. The little beady eyes. He has fail-safe's arms and legs and waist. And then the torso up here is what ketchup and mustard were supposed to be. So it really tells me we're probably going to get ketchup and mustard in a 2-pack somewhere down the line. And it feels like with this new mold, like the arms are just kind of odd. The way they sit. Though they are nice and loose. There's no gappage or anything, so I like that. 90-degree knee bends. And this, I'll be using the runway that came with this probably to make a Cobra runway, since now we have our little sticks. And now we can route where we want them to go. And again, I am supposed to have ketchup and mustard to go on my USS flag because I don't have them. So, what was the purpose of having this figure? Well, it was just the hopes that people would be like, I need to have that. And I think if more people had a flag, this thing would have gotten backed. So I like this. I like that idea. There's the mortar. I guess, you know what? I also forgot to show you the cards. So we'll start here. Here's what happens. You get kind of distracted again. I already shown you the cards. They look really nice. To a point. I don't really mind this helmet that much. I think because it kind of fades to the back. But they really should just had a regular helmet. Again, same as with Scarlet. Here's the Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander. So you can see the Mickey Mouse logo there, and right next to it you can see the Cobra logo. So you can see how different it is, and it had something to do with it when they first tampoed it. It was in reverse. So that's why everything, or certain parts, I think the middle looks like it's in reverse. Again, I don't know. And then again, here is the Cobra Trooper. And even though they don't accent the grays here as much, you can see they're gray. Now let's get to the one that I really, really wanted. That is Night Force Ripcord. I always loved this background, and yes, I know it's different now, but it's still the same. It's just redone. And here we have OG Ripcord. Seriously, one of my favorite figures. You know, wasn't the most popular. The GI Joe movie absolutely destroyed it. So, let's pop off his weapon, his oxygen, his helmet, and then his parachute. And then we can compare the two figures and see if they are that close, how well they did. So what I'm saying is, if they're giving us this figure, you can probably imagine we are going to get a regular Ripcord. There's no reason not to. They already got the mold. I don't mind something like that because this is different. So on the arm, you have the Night Force emblem. Again, T-pose. No issues with the rivets there. No gap. This one here works having it painted for sure because he's supposed to be dark. Where this one still, you really don't notice. It's camouflaged. You can see the rivets. Knees, 90 degree, no problem. Jean-Claude Van Damme. So, it's hard to see Ripcord because he's camouflaged. So anyway, quickly looking at it, looking at the vest or the chest, you can see where the pockets are at. You can see the way this scrolls down. Obviously, this one does not have Night Force on him. But everything from the side, from the cuffs, looks really nice. It fits. He has the big baggy pants where he's going to have pouches and pockets. He's got the weird looking feet and boots. Maybe that's used for skydiving. I don't know. And then the back here, this is really pronounced. It stands out because it's green on black. Where this is green on green in the camouflage. As for the face sculpts, I think they did a pretty good job. He already originally had kind of some beady little eyes. So these ones are way more beady. But the face sculpt looks pretty close. Where Ace, in my opinion, definitely looks like they kind of sculpted it to be different. If I can get it off, I will. But while you're sitting here waiting for me to get Aces off here, I'm just going to show you quickly. Take a second. You see that I have a merch shop now. You got some shirts up there and different things with different logo. Man, I'll tell you, this helmet is really hard to get off. As you can hear me kind of grunting, huh? Yeah, see, I can't even get the helmet off. Anyway, you know what? Since I'm not going to fight with it, you can go to the Skystriker video. It comes off. Okay, even Scarlet's is hard to get off. Okay. So everything is in here. So we open this up. Again, way, way softer. The feel of this is just so much softer than this. It's just really weird how different it feels. Although the green I really do like. It stands out. It sticks out. It looks good. So you can see everything is molded in the exact same spot. Clasps are there. Where the hole sits for the oxygen mask. Look at the back here. Man, it's so much softer. So much softer. It's crazy. Then you can see it's the exact same. Like, there is no change to it. No, it's all molded. It's all remolded. So it is different. This is super soft. Where this one was always hard. I wonder if it's going to be easier to put on. But you can see it looks pretty good. Again, everything is done the exact same. They did not veer off it at all. The two helmets, you can feel the difference in the helmets. The original one is shinier. The new one is a more matte black. But they are formed the same for the most part. Looks like there's a little difference right there. And then we get to the gun. I always love this gun. I like the handle, how the way it stuck out. You wouldn't have to go over and break their thumbs. And the new one I really do like in black. But it is... it's not as, you know what? It's not as soft as, let's say, the Cobra Officer gun. Or Cobra Officer. The Cobra Trooper gun. This is really soft. So, there it is. That's all the figures. Now let's try and load him up and see how well it does. So while we're doing this, a couple things to think about. And I actually mentioned this when we were doing some of the other OG figures. So here I have, you know, the mortar. So you can probably figure out they are planning on doing short fuse. Why would you mold that? Also in the retro, in the retro line, whatever they want to call it, they gave us the M60, which tells me we should be getting rock and roll. They also gave us Zap's bazooka, so we should be getting Zap. Obviously having Ripcord as Night Force tells us we could be getting a Ripcord, but also tells us we could be getting some Night Force figures. Helmet was always shaped different. That thing sits really big on his head. It definitely looks bigger. This looks way more like a World War II helmet. Yeah, you can see how the walls... You can see how the walls on this are thicker. So I see exactly what Lenny had told me. Again, if you don't want to believe it, that's you. That's up to you, but I'm just telling you the information that was passed on to me when I specifically asked. If you ever have a question and you want to ask any of the teams, whether it be the Marvel team, the Star Wars team, GI Joe team, you want to ask Emily something, you want to ask Lenny something, you can do it. Just do it in a polite way. Don't be belligerent. Don't be just some jackass that feels like you need to be rude to them. This thing is really hard to pop in, and I think it's because it's so soft. So I'm not going to struggle with it right now. I will pop that thing in later. So we put the mask on. You can actually get the mask over rather than unclasp it. It doesn't sit nearly as well, in my opinion, as the OG one does. But there it is. Now we're going to take the gun. And we're going to throw it in his hand. And again, softer plastics. We don't have to worry about the thumbs breaking. Which, in all honesty, is a big, huge thing. But they also don't stay nearly as well. Nor does the helmet. Again, I don't know. Kind of struggling with this. This is going to be something that you're going to have to kind of play with and get it in the same spot. I don't think they're going to be as playable as the original ones, although we won't have to worry about them breaking. So, all right, that is all the figures. I ran through. hopefully you guys kind of enjoyed it. Here's failsafe. If you are wondering, again, like I said, his gun is downstairs. He kind of looks like Channing Tatum. Helmet pops on. He won. He actually looks pretty good. It looks like him. It looks like they used the same arm. So again, just reusing stuff, retooling stuff, making it easier so they don't have to spend the money, which is understandable. I mean, it's Hasbro. They like to go chintz. They like to go cheap on things. The waist, yeah, so he uses Ripcord's waist. I think I called him Airborne a second ago. He uses Ripcord's waist. I thought he used the same legs, but the legs are completely different because he has little markings down here. All right, that's it. Let's wrap it up. All right, so let's wrap up with the Haslab Skystriker. Yeah, this video is going to be longer than I had anticipated or that I wanted to, but when you're trying to quickly go over 5 figures, explain a few other things, I do my intro, I do my outro, you know how it goes. But you're here for that. You wanted something pretty in-depth, I'm going to give you something pretty in-depth. Probably going to throw some jokes along the line. You're probably going to laugh, probably see me get mad. Who knows? I will say this. The plane is well worth the price that we got. And I mentioned to someone, if you have an aircraft carrier, the value is probably worth more. It kind of sounded arrogant that like, well, not everyone has one. But the reason why I mean that is because if you have 5 of them now, you can close the wings and fit them on the aircraft carrier. The way the Arista hook comes down to grab the cable and it opens up the landing gear when it lands is really cool. I don't understand why they didn't show that. And again, if you're wondering about that, go ahead and take a look at the other video. You'll see it. I go over that. I even did a short on it. Go watch the short. But anyway, I want to say the figures are not as well conceived, in my personal opinion. And I think a lot has to do with maybe how, I was told how there's different tolerances, different wall thicknesses. And because they're not putting their money and resources into these figures, rather, they're putting them into the 6-inch, I think these are getting shortchanged. I think the Skystriker looks awesome. Everything that it comes with. I'm really happy with it. The figures, on the other hand, are almost like they were throw-ins. And some of them, I guess, I kind of understand. But the pilot you obviously need. It's nice to have a Scarlet pilot, so if you did want to have multiple, you don't have to have Ace flying every single one of them. Again, this is not the one I wanted. I wanted the GI Joes because I'm a Skystriker, so I don't have the airmen the traffic airmen, whatever, to tell them where to go. Never had that. I want that. That is the world building that I want for my O-ring figures, my 4-inch, my 3 3/4, whatever you want to call them, 3.75, I don't care. The Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander, did I really need that? Not really, because now I have 2 new modern. Sunbow Cobra Trooper, I'm fine with that. I always have another trooper, and I really do like the look of Night Force Airborne. I call them Airborne again, so you better give us a Night Force Airborne. The Night Force Ripcord I liked. Again, I always liked Ripcord, so yeah. I'm going to keep going on if I don't shut up, and you guys know that. So anyway, I'm going to finish up. I'm going to say this. I do now have a merch store. If you are interested, links down there. You can see the merch, shirts. I got one on order, so you'll be able to see me wearing it. You'll know how it looks. Then you can decide whether or not you want to invest, but you get stickers, mugs, different things like that. I got a few different logos, and there'll be more going on. Entertainment Earth, and I will drop a link to that. Obviously, you can't buy that on Entertainment Earth, but I do not have a store code. If you punch in that code, it's an actual website for Entertainment Earth. You get 10% off anything in stock. In any order over $39, you get free shipping. Other than that, social medias, you know what? Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, A Punk with Toys. the Facebook group page, Punks with Toys, because once you join, you're a punk with toys. And you know the deal. Take a second, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Always hit the like button. It does so much more than you could ever possibly imagine. And hit the bell notification, because you never know when I'm going to drop a new GI Joe video, a 4-inch video, 6-inch video, a Valaverse video, a Gargoyles video, a Motu video, an Elf video. You never know. But you've come here, if you spent this much time, you definitely enjoy what you're given. And it sounds like a lot of people are enjoying the content. So thank you to everyone that sends me messages saying, enjoy your content, keep up what you're doing. It means more to me than you could ever imagine. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a wonderful day. Don't leave YouTube. Just go toy hunting for a little bit. But before you do, here is the playlist of the O-rings, and then watch this video because YouTube says you need to. It'll be the Skystriker.